Have you ever played a video game where you felt a loss of agency? How did you react to that? Did it change your opinion of the video game itself, or did it break some of its magic? Metal Gear Solid 5, both The Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes, challenges both what Venom's beliefs are about himself and his circumstances, and what we, the player, believe as well. The theme of a loss of agency is strong throughout MGS5, and that's what we'll be exploring today as we take a closer look at Venom, Quiet, and a few other key players. What's up everyone? Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Luffy and welcome to my channel. I talk video games and character analysis, so if that's your thing, stick around and subscribe. Heads up, this video will have major spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain and Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Also, spoilers for Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. What is a loss of agency? Okay, first, what is agency? There are two things we need to talk about when talking about agency. Your sense of agency and your sense of ownership. These two ideas are closely connected, but not always linked to one another. Your sense of agency is your awareness of controlling your own actions. When you get dressed in the morning, you're aware that you're the one making the decision to get dressed and what to wear. That's your sense of agency. Your sense of ownership is your sense of ownership over your own movements and thoughts. When you move your arm, you know it's your arm that's moving. If someone else grabs your arm and moves it, you still understand that your arm is moving, so you keep your sense of ownership, but your sense of agency is lost since you're not the one moving your arm. Feeling a loss of agency can come from something as obvious as someone moving your arm, or something more subtle, like someone handing you an outfit and pressuring you to wear it. It can also come from responding to a situation that was orchestrated under false pretenses. You know, like if someone hypnotized you into believing you were someone else and you acted as that implanted version of yourself to commit war crimes. Speaking of which, let's talk about the most obvious loss of agency in Metal Gear Solid 5. The reprogrammed medic, Venom Snake. In 1975, MSF's mother base fell under attack and was destroyed by invading forces. During this skirmish, a medic aboard a helicopter with Big Boss and Big Boss himself were injured in a dire way. The medic, who had leapt in front of BB to block him from most of the blast they were injured in, took the brunt of the explosion. He suffered from major shrapnel injuries, including a piece of shrapnel lodging in his head that looked like a horn and losing his left arm below the elbow. He spent 9 years in a coma in a hospital in Cyprus, and when he woke up, a plan was set into motion to position him to draw BB's enemies to him and away from the real Big Boss. To fool BB's enemies, the medic would need to look and behave like Big Boss. The medic underwent plastic surgery to look like BB, and then Ocelot swooped in with his hypnotherapy to convince him that he was the genuine article. The medic was given a new code name, Venom Snake, and went along with Ocelot to found and grow diamond dogs. From the moment Venom wakes up, he's stripped from his sense of agency. He's expected to act and live in a certain way, and not in a way he chose for himself. In MGS5's true ending, BB asks Venom,
"Now do you remember who you are? What you were meant to do?"
What you were meant to do. As in, Big Boss had already decided what Venom's purpose is. He strips his agency from him and hands him his ready-made purpose instead. Surprisingly, Venom takes his sense of agency back when he smashes the mirror that reflected his old self and walks away as Big Boss. Quiet, the silenced assassin.
I did not choose to be quiet.
We first meet Quiet when she's fooled by Big Boss's ruse and tries to assassinate Venom, thinking he's Big Boss. She speaks in this scene to whoever her handlers are for this mission before failing miserably to assassinate Big Boss or Venom. Later, we meet back up with Quiet again when she tries to finish her assignment by sniping at Venom. She fails here too though, and is taken back to Mother Base as a prisoner. Throughout her time on Mother Base, Quiet refuses to speak, and it's later revealed that she's infected with the English strain of the vocal cord parasites, which will wipe out any English speakers on Mother Base, and perhaps even the world at large should the vocal cord parasites spread beyond Mother Base. Towards the end of MGS5 TPP, Quiet says, "I did not choose to be quiet," meaning her sense of agency was stripped from her when she was infected with the English strain of the vocal cord parasites. We'll never know what kind of pressure she faced when she was being prepared to once again assassinate Big Boss. Was she even asked if she wanted to be infected with the English strain of the vocal cord parasites, or was she infected with them at the same time she was infected with the strain of the parasites of the ones that cover that saved her from succumbing to her physical injuries? I don't see Skullface asking, or if he did ask, she was probably pressured into it like how he pressured Kotalker to work on the vocal cord parasites in the first place. She could have been driven by her lust for revenge and gone along with being infected with the English strain of the vocal cord parasites to cause as much damage to Venom and his PMC as possible. What we do know is what Quiet says, which is that she didn't choose to be quiet. so she didn't choose to be infected. Quiet silence throughout MGS5 TPP illustrates her loss of agency. At the very end, she reclaims her agency by leaving Diamond Dogs and Venom to keep them safe from the English strain of the vocal cord parasites. Quiet explains through the safety of a cassette tape,
"That is why I chose the language of gratitude instead, and go back to silence. I am quiet. I am the absence of words."
In the end, she chooses silence for herself and to keep the people she'd sworn to destroy safe. She reclaims her agency. The Puppet Soldiers. The Puppet Soldiers are what inspired this video. Someone said that the Puppet Soldiers were supposed to symbolize the themes of loss of agency in MGS5 TPP, and it blew my mind. And I'm so sorry, normally I would credit who said this in my channel, but I cannot find your comment at all, so please let me know and I can pin your comment on this video. With the Puppet Soldiers following the theme of loss of agency, I suddenly felt like that Leonardo DiCaprio pointing me, because once I took a step back and looked at them in this light, other things started to pop up that were also in alignment with that theme. The Puppet Soldiers not only have a loss of agency, but a loss of ownership as well. Puppet soldiers are created when soldiers around the parasite unit breathe in their disgusting parasite sweat. The sweat transforms them into these zombified soldiers with a deadened sense of pain and awareness. These soldiers sway to and fro and lunge at Venom if he gets too close. Bullets don't seem to hurt them, and only a bullet to the brain will put them down. To me, these puppet soldiers represent the most extreme outcome for Venom, or for us, the player. To mindlessly be trudging forward with one objective in mind and no agency to stray from that set objective. In MGS5 TPP, Venom's objective is to be Big Boss, but he's still afforded agency in his everyday life of what that's going to look like. We, the player, decide if he's going to end the lives of the soldiers we come up against, or if we'll take a more passive route by either tranking them or sneaking past them without notice. We can decide what animals to save and bring onto our animal conservation platform, and what soldiers we kidnap to fill our base. All of these things give us a sense of agency. The puppet soldiers have lost this, as their actions are controlled completely by the parasites. They're mindless. You. Ooh, spooky. You also lose your agency in MGS5 TPP. Whenever you play a video game, or engage with any kind of media, you enter into an agreement with the developers. The developers promise you the kind of game you'll be playing, and you buy that game on that understanding. Have you ever bought a game only to find out it was nothing like the trailers or how the reviews talked about it? So frustrating, right? That's one of the big reasons why MGS2 received so much backlash upon release. We all thought we were going to be playing one game when it took a sharp turn for something else. Even as far back as MGS5 Ground Zeroes, you've lost your agency. There's a theory, one that I personally believe, that the Ground Zeroes we played wasn't actually what happened. What we play through is a training exercise Venom and we, the player, go through to prepare us to act as Big Boss in MGS5 TPP. Some evidence that lends to this theory is how Kaz talks about what happens with Paz back in MGS Peace Walker. In Peace Walker, Kaz knew about Paz and Zadornov's coming betrayal, but failed to warn BB as he wanted to use them to grow their PMC, MSF. At the end of Peace Walker, Kaz revealed to BB how he knew about them and why he used them, and that MSF wouldn't have grown as large as it did without him playing along. In Ground Zeroes, however, Kaz is incredulous about Paz and Zadornov's betrayal, saying,
I can't believe we ever bought that cover story.
Also, thank you so much to Jay Pliskin in Discord for helping me find this clip. I was turning in circles thinking I maybe made this up until they found it for me. The only person that knew about Kaz's knowledge of Paz and Zadornov was BB, so whoever was going to train Venom up as BB wouldn't have known to include that in the exercise. They assumed Kaz had been in the dark like everybody else. So Ground Zeroes was a training exercise to train both Venom and we, the player, to behave as Big Boss, much like how Raiden was trained in VR to emulate Solid Snake. Venom not being the true Big Boss draws us into MGS5 TPP. Up until the point of Revelation, we believed we were playing as Big Boss. It wasn't us making decisions, it was us making decisions as to what we believed Big Boss would do. One of the reasons silent protagonists are so popular in video games is because a silent protagonist allows us to put ourselves in the game, whereas protagonists with bold personalities separates us from the game as we're not playing as them. Suddenly, we haven't been playing as Big Boss, we've been putting ourselves in the game. Every decision we made on the battlefield, to kill or not to kill, which buddy to use, etc., isn't something Big Boss would do. It's something we would do and have done. At the same time, we believed we were Big Boss, So every action we made was while keeping what Big Boss would do in mind. So each and every one of us who played MGS5 added to Big Boss's legend. We all contributed to his myth. So the shift from Big Boss to medic turned Venom elevates the player from someone playing a video game with the protagonist being Big Boss to someone who was the protagonist themselves and making decisions that perpetuated Big Boss's legend. You can see this in real time when you overhear enemy soldiers in outposts talking about Big Boss. Their dialogue changes depending on how you've been playing. They'll talk about if you trank a lot or if you kill. The shift from Big Boss to Phantom also reveals a loss of agency for us, the player, who were also caught up in the lie that Venom Snake is Big Boss. We didn't agree to this when we bought the game. The reveal at the end of MGS5 TPP rewrites not only Venom's role in his own story, but rewrites our role as the player too. Kojima also rewrites the events of Metal Gears 1 and 2. Suddenly, in Metal Gear 1, we understand how Big Boss survived, and also that we've killed ourselves as Venom in 1987 when Metal Gear 1 first released. Kojima draws us into the world and makes us a part of the story, which is really rare for video games. Usually, you assume the identity of the player character, which we did, but together we and Venom assumed the role of Big Boss. Together, we experienced a loss of agency when we realized everything we'd been doing up until this point had been under false, carefully choreographed pretenses. And that's all we have for today's video. Have you ever played a video game where you felt a loss of agency? How did you feel about MGS5's true ending and where it's revealed you were never playing as Big Boss like you believed you were? Why do you think MGS5 was better received than MGS2 when they both arguably pull the same stunt? If you liked today's video, please like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. It really helps my channel out. If you need more MGS content, check out my Patreon. I upload articles I write on upcoming videos or just thought pieces on MGS in general. Or join us in Discord. We're always talking about MGS. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you.